Merry Meet and welcome to Tarot Tuesday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. Moderating today on YouTube is the lovely Shirley and moderating on Twitch is the lovely Delene. Thank you so much, Shirley, and thank you so much, Delene. And thank you to everybody for joining us today for this tarot class. I thought we were stopping with we were all finished with the trump cards, but it was brought to my attention we never went over the Fool, and I don't know how I thought we did, but we didn't. So today will be the end of our journey through the tarot trumps, and we'll start with other stuff next week. So moderating today, oh, I already told you who's moderating, but if you are watching on either YouTube or Twitch, make sure that you know that we have a chat thread open on each of those streams. And if you have any questions, you can put them right in the chat thread, or if you want to just talk amongst yourselves, that's fine as well too. We really appreciate you being here. We also have a discussion group on Facebook, and we have a Discord server. So you can find how to get to each of those things in the footers of every page of my website. Those links are there. My website's at ariels-corner.com, Ariel's Corner with a hyphen.com, and you can find all kinds of stuff there. Everything we have at Ariel's Corner is free of charge, but you can find our classes, our booklets, free guided meditation, lots of articles, lots of spells, and just you name it. We got cool stuff over there, so enjoy. If you'd like to give us a donation, you can do that by going to paypal.me/Ariel Gatoga, paypal.me/Ariel Gatoga. If you're watching live on YouTube, you could use a super sticker or super chat if you feel like giving a donation, or if you're watching on a restream on YouTube, you could do that by using a super thanks. If you are on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. And if you're on Twitch, make sure you follow us. You can watch us on Twitch without any ads if you subscribe to us there. We have a shop at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com, and all these decks, I think most of these decks, if they're still in print, and all the other decks I read with are on there listed, and we make a small commission off of each and every sale there. And we have all kinds of other stuff listed besides tarot decks as well. So we appreciate your support, but we're here for another purpose than talking about supporting us. We are here talking about tarot. So let's just get to work here, Ariel. And let's talk about the Fool. I think let's start out like we like to do with Rider-Waite-Smith, because that's what most people are used to. All right, here's a Fool character walking on a cliff, about ready maybe to walk off the cliff. It's got a dog here, kind of barking at it. Carrying a white rose. It's got a little knapsack over its shoulder. Doesn't look like it's in rags, and this particular Fool is very well dressed, if you ask me. And the sun is shining, and then there's snow-capped mountains in the background. All right, let's look at one of the more traditional Marseille. I think that's these guys. Yeah, here's a Marseille Fool. And we can look at them side to side. Facing the different direction, is just on a regular terrain, not necessarily on a cliff, is carrying the knapsack. There's no sun pictured. This could be a dog. It's some sort of creature. The clothes are still very Fool-oriented clothes. The card is not numbered on the old decks, where it's called number 0 on the modern decks. Let's see what else we got going on here. Is this the Spanish? Yes. El Loco. Almost identical. They didn't really do much change there. Nope, I can't really see any real change here, but that animal is very, very actively trying to get its attention, that's for sure. Oops. All right, what's this? So this is the Italian one, the old Italian one. This one's definitely... Is that a dog? Sometimes it's a goat. I think that might be a dog, though. A lot of times it's a dog, but sometimes these older decks, it's a goat. So this might be even like a shepherd or something. We don't know. But this one, he's got a barefoot here and maybe a shoe there. He's got a walking stick here plus the knapsack. This one, these guys all have walking sticks, except for this one has the white rose instead of a walking stick. The fool is looking straight forward, and this one he's looking up. All right, here's a modern Marseille. Pretty typical of the other Marseille here. Walking stick, knapsack, looking straight up. This is some sort of terrain. Definitely looks like a dog there. It's all pretty much the same. Unnumbered. Everything's unnumbered. Let's look at the Manly P. Hall sort of esoteric version of it. Is that a dog? I think so. This one's got an alligator. Okay, this is the only one with the alligator. I don't see an alligator anywhere else. But definitely bigger knapsack too. He's got a lot more stuff. He's got a lot more baggage. This one, it looks like he's got a headband instead of a hat. Definitely a longer beard. Looks like it's the night sky. So it's the nighttime that he's traveling in. Okay. So, and this is also numbered, 0. So the original fool was not numbered, and the reason why is, remember, it's a game. And see, the thing with the numbers in the trump cards, people like to use numerology, and it often just doesn't work. The numerology is, to me, very forced when you put them on the tarot trumps. They work great for the pips, not so much for the trumps. The trumps, the numbers are important, but important in that the higher the number of trump, the more valuable of a card it is in the game. And I like to use the game as a reminder of what something is. So in the game, the fool is like a wild card. They call it an excuse. That's the name of that. Instead of a wild card, it's called an excuse. And it can be used to basically take a trick. It's a trick-taking game. So it's similar to the Joker in a poker deck, that it can be used, depending on the rules and depending on the tournament and what's been agreed upon, it can be used to basically do what you want. If you have the fool, you get not only to take the trick, but very oftentimes you get to take somebody's. There's a way that you can use the fool to take somebody's valuable card and give them your least valuable card. So the fool has a lot of power in the game, and therefore I see the fool as having the most power of all the trump cards in both esoteric meanings and in divinatory meanings. So, if we just look at the picture in and of itself, it tells us a lot. The fool could be considered the initiate, or a lot of people call it the fool's journey. That as a neophyte, it's pure innocence, don't understand what's going on. It's gonna travel basically through the entire trump deck and experience each and every degree of initiation until it gets to the end, and then that 0, if you're numbering it, it then becomes 22. And so on one side, if it's the 0, it's the neophyte, and as 22, it's considered the adept. Now, what I find interesting is that the trump always has, or the fool, always has this animal that is nipping at the heels of the fool. And I like to look at that as being our own inner guidance system, our own intuition, our own sort of guardian angel, if you will. But I like that it's as this little animal to remind us that it's a small voice. It's a still small voice within us. Even when it's barking, very often we don't listen, not looking like it's paying much attention to the dog here. See this? And I like that. And when it's called when it's either a dog or a goat, because both of those animals are considered a friend to humanity. But especially these days, the dog, we don't have pet goats so much, but the dog is oftentimes a friend to humanity. They call it man's best friend or humanity's best friend. And what that reminds us of is that our best friend is always with us. Our inner guidance system is always with us and will always make sure that we're safe, that we don't fall off that cliff, that we don't take a wrong turn, right? And so this Fool card can represent humankind as innocent people, and when we make wrong choices, we can fall. And that whole biblical fall idea is interesting here when you look at it as the on the precipice of a cliff, but that we always have the capacity within us to listen, to make new choices, and to be guided and led. Now, the thing about the Fool, if you think about what it can do in the game, is it's indestructible. It doesn't matter if it goes through what it goes through. It can take any trick. Throw whatever you want at the Fool, and it's still going to win. No matter what, it's going to win. And so not only is this our innocence, but it's our invincibility and our lack of vulnerability as souls. And very frequently we view ourselves as being very vulnerable. Very often we have an image that we are vulnerable to attack, that we're vulnerable to destruction, and that our world sort of like reemphasizes that belief for us. And there's a lot of evidence to support that belief. But this card likes to remind us that none of that's true. That no matter what happens, our soul is indestructible. And no matter what is going on in any of the drama of those trumps, the Fool is the one that takes the trick. Always comes out the winner. Always is on the side of the player that has it. And the reason why is because it's A, unnumbered, and B, because of the picture here. It's guided, it's led. No matter what happens, it's going to take care of itself. Now, I love that the Fool has very little. And that's because we need very little. It's telling us that as souls, we don't need things from this world. We don't need anything that we think we do. We need very, very little. That this Fool basically has everything that it needs at all moments of time and points of space and doesn't need to carry it with it. Because if it needed something, it would manifest. If it needs something, it'll be drawn to it. It'll be guided to it. It will be given to it. It doesn't need to carry all that stuff with it. And that's us too. We get so bogged down by our stuff. We want more stuff, and I want stuff, and I want stuff. And we don't realize that the more stuff we have, the less mobile we are, and the less we can move about and have the experience of the Fool that we are meant to have. We are meant to move graciously and gracefully through our lives, unencumbered, and allowing ourselves to be abundant. When we have too much stuff in our knapsack, we can't be abundant. We can't, because we have to protect what's in our knapsack rather than allowing our needs to be met in the moment. Right? So everybody needs a little something, but eventually we won't even need this. By the time we get done with this journey that we're on, that won't even be something that we need, because we realized that we will come to realize that all our needs can be met in the present moment, at any moment of time and point of space, if we are willing to be guided and led by that still small voice within us. Then we can even take that and lay it down. So it's a beautiful card. I love the Fool. The Fool is pure innocence. Now, sometimes in a reading, let's go with divinatory readings, you have to really take it in context and allow your spread. And we'll start talking about this next week. I was going to talk about it this week, but we got to get finished through the cards. allow your spread to make sentences for you. And sometimes when the Fool comes up, it's like, okay, be careful of being foolish about this. You're not allowing yourself to be guided. You're not allowing yourself to be led. You're making a stupid mistake. You're about to fall off a cliff. Sometimes that's what that means in the reading. But ultimately, even when the Fool makes a mistake, it can't be harmed because of what it is. It's the unnumbered card that can take any trick. Sometimes the Fool forgets itself. Sometimes the Fool forgets its power. Sometimes the Fool gets its knapsack way too big, way too filled, and it can't move very well. Sometimes the Fool forgets to listen to the still small voice within it. Sometimes the Fool gets its head in the clouds and doesn't remember why it's doing what it's doing. But even when it does that, everything always works out for it because of who it is. It's a divine child, perfectly innocent, an expression of pure love straight from the source, that source of infinite intelligence. And that's what you are. That's who you are as a soul. In the Psalms, the Fool is called Israel. So you are Israel. Also, the Fool you could also call the Fool Jacob in the Psalms, where Jacob made stupid, horrible mistakes and did some awful things, and it didn't matter. Or the prodigal son went and did some horrible, bad things, squandered its fortune. And the dad, when he came home, said, "Oh my God, look at what I've done." The dad said, "I don't care. I'm so glad to see you. Yay." And that's exactly what the Fool is. The Fool is indestructible, learns wonderful lessons, goes through all kinds of adventures and dramas, but can't ever be harmed. And that's who you are as a soul. So the Fool is a fabulous card. They all are, but the Fool is sort of like the boss of the tarot. And so that boss of the tarot of the Fool is not the kind of boss that's that has designs on anybody or tells anybody what to do. It's the boss because it's the innocent child of the universe. And because of its innocence, can take any trick and will always win, and doesn't even understand how powerful it is most of the time because of its innocence and its freedom. And that's who you are. And the Fool is a wonderful card to meditate on a very regular basis. Thank you so much for joining us today. I will see if we have any questions, which we do not. And so we will be back with another tarot class next week, and we're going to start getting into reading. So for divination, we'll start doing some spreads and things like that starting next week. So I hope you can make it back. Thank you so much to the amazing moderators. Today we had Delene and Shirley, and I hope that you can come and be a part of our magic streams each and every day, starting tomorrow through Sunday, 10:15 a.m. Pacific. Much love and many, many blessings.